must have been boy. Wish I would have known it was going to rain. Looks like it's going to hit us hard and fast. I watered the flowers today, but I did a good job watering, didn't I? Oh boy, 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 oh boy. I'm just hanging out today while I have my breakfast. And unless we get like 10 people, I'm just gonna bounce. Got other shit going on. It's funny to think like 10 people is, hope I can get 10 people. That's how fucking censored I've been. Crazy. Somebody. You know that this censorship for telling the truth is expected, I guess. But it's fucking fucked up, man. I hope you guys are anti-Jewish as well. Anti-supremacy. Anti-supremacism. That's what I'm going to call it from now on. Proud of my anti-supremacism. 3 people, fucking A, man. Share the video, guys. Let them know. You know, I'm surprised by, like, it's fucking crazy how if you post free Palestine somewhere, you're gonna get attacked by a bunch of Jews. Just that simple. And they're gonna say horrible things, and they're gonna they're gonna call you names. They're gonna do everything but debunk, deny what you're saying, because they can't. I got a post on Instagram where I posted free Palestine on a video. I didn't even remember what the fucking video is. It has almost 400 likes on it. 366 or something like that. And just hundreds of comments. And so many of the comments are shit like, never, fuck Palestine, you know, fuck the Palestinians, you know, just all these horrible things. And all it does is prove the point. You know, it's the Jews that are making this all about the Jews. When the protesters are protesting the genocide happening, it's the Jews that are saying, you're protesting against Judaism. So instead of us trying, no, that's not what we're, no, fucking embrace it. Fuck yeah, I am. You guys identify with genocide, I am fucking protesting you. That's how it should be. That's something that you've never seen happen. Because they've programmed us to not want to be labeled. I don't want to be labeled. You can't call me an anti-Semite. You know what? I want to look that one up. I want to look up what Semite means. Because we all know anti-Semitism. Well, Semitism means the belief, the practice or the belief and or practice of showing Jews favor. You believe in and practice showing Jews favor. Favor. Why you would show any one group favor over the rest of us is beyond me. Well, it's not. It's you're programmed to. Semite. See, I put Semite in, and Semitic people comes up. That's not the word I'm looking up. There we go. Semite. Any member of, or a member of any of the people who speak or spoke the Semitic languages, including in particular Jews and Arabs. So there's another form of it. That's how they do that. They call you a racist. When they're calling you anti-Semitic or they say you're an anti-Semite, you should be offended. And you should correct them. Listen here, buddy. I absolutely love the Palestinian people. I have lots of Arabic friends. I love Arabic food. There are aspects of their culture that's fucked up, but I am definitely not anti-Arab. I am very proud of my anti-Semitism, though. Just so we can get the words right. I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not an anti-Semite. As much as Jews want to own everything, they clearly don't own those words flat out. Funny how they're associated with you know, they're all considered Semitic people by definition, but then when the Jews start talking, they are completely separate from everyone else. Wake up. This is an education. This is a free education. You could go to college for many, many years and you're not going to learn this shit. You're going to learn a bunch of shit they want you to know so you can be cogs in their wheel. But you're not going to hear the truth about any of this shit. I never heard any of this shit till I fucking started looking to my... I was today years old, 45 years old when I looked up the definition of Semite. And what I thought was that it was... I thought it was going to say Jews. So, you know what? I could have looked foolish. I could have had egg on my face with that one. But of course, it's you know, it covers a wide range. Let's see. Devastation in Gaza as Israel wages war on Hamas. Why do we keep calling it that? Why do we allow that to happen? Israel is not waging war on Hamas. Israel is wiping out the Palestinians. It's really that simple. You know, this isn't rocket surgery. This is fucking easily seen, obvious shit. A very racist, supremacist, piece of shit people is wiping out another people. And then attacking those that call it out. You know who I'd love to interview? I'd love to interview one of those all black guys that show up to the student protests in full body armor with weaponry and beat the shit out of college students for protesting genocide in a foreign country. I want to know who those people are. I want to talk to them. I want to ask them how they do that. I want to know how they sleep at night. I'd like to know who they are. I'd like to know what their names are. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a bunch of Morensteins and Bergs and Felds. Feldberg, Goldberg, Feldman, Steins. You know, it's such a hard thing. This is such a hard line to walk. You know? When it comes to my kids, what do I do? How do you do this? How do you answer their questions honestly? And you know, and I don't know, prepare them for the backlash to that. You know, gotta let them know, like, this is the truth, but you can't say that shit, or else you're gonna get in trouble. You know, it's fucking crazy. These Israelis are fucking crazy, and they're just fearful, man. It's all fear. They don't approach the situation with confidence. They don't say, you know, we're open books. Say what you need to say, and we'll address those things, and hopefully we can answer your questions. And it's not work. Doesn't work that way. Have you? When it comes to the protesting, have you heard anyone make a reasonable argument as to why they shouldn't be protesting? All you keep hearing is that they're not allowed to be, that they shouldn't be, that us Goyim shouldn't be speaking up. And that's all they ever do. That's Israel tactic warfare, whatever you want to call it, 101. You tell the Goyim they're not allowed to ask that. Like, just like when you were a kid and you'd be in church and you'd have some sort of question about how fucking ridiculously hypocritical and just nonsensical what you're being put through is. Hey, Mom, Mom, how come there's homeless people and stuff, and there's children being raped by clergymen? How do the leaders of the church keep raping the kids, and God's okay with that? Don't ask that question. We don't ask that question. Just shut up and believe. That's all it ever comes down to, and that's how they treat us, like disobedient children. You're not allowed to say that. I have never heard a reasonable argument for anything Israeli Jewish. Nothing. The only thing that you'll hear, the number one main go-to argument is, well, the Bible says. That's why this is a Christian nation. If we didn't live in a Christian nation, Israel could not exist. But that's literally how they answer for or you know, debunk any sort of accusations or any sort of question or anything, is that it's in the Bible. The Bible says it is, and the next thing that happens, and they're already prepared for this, because it really doesn't matter what your next thing is. But if you happen to say, well, I don't believe in that stuff, or, I mean, really, if you say anything, whether it's in the Bible or, and you agree with that or whatever, if you say, well, I don't know about the Bible saying anything about the Israelis murdering almost 40,000 people, like that's kind of weird, don't you think? As soon as you start saying anything other than, oh, I guess you're right, it is in the Bible, the immediate accusation jumps to, well, you're anti-Semitic. That's anti-Semitism. You hate the Jews. Why do you hate the Jews? Why do you hate the Jews? You Nazi. You're a Nazi. You're a Nazi, you Nazi. You hate the Jews, you Nazi. Like, and it's the same hypocritical, dumb rhetoric it always is. It's never anything. They never have any reasonable arguments for why they believe what they believe. You should believe it because it's in the Bible, and if you don't say that, if you don't agree with that, then we'll call you names. They'll say you're anti-Semitic, and you hate, and that's it. And that's all they ever have. There's no logical, reasonable, intelligent nothing. doesn't work that way. They're just hate-filled, ignorant people. Who the worst part is, and this is the part that they don't readily say it, but it comes across, is that they look down on you so much. They don't think you should be saying these things. They're like, who the fuck are you, you dumb goyim, to be asking me anything? That's literally how they view you. Yeah, they may be your smiling doctor. They may be your dentist, lawyer, I don't know. And they're smiling. I know lots of people that are like, though, no, I know Jews. These Jews are really nice. And then, yeah, when you're paying them and they're in the position of authority, they're very nice to you. As soon as you question them, how many times you ever gone against what your doctor has to say and he welcomed that? Or she. Your Jewish doctor. It doesn't work that way. Everything is fine and dandy until you step out of line or start asking questions you're not supposed to ask. My friend who worked at the dentist's office and swore up and down that, you know, her boss wasn't the horrible Jew that I keep thinking and saying they are, and she loves her Jewish people, and her boss told her she could ask any questions she wanted. He'd be happy to talk about it with her. And so she started asking him things. And for about 2 or 3 days, it was okay. But I can't even remember what it was that she asked, but he snapped at her and yelled at her in front of everybody and really like browbeat her, man. Made her feel really low and insignificant, and she was crying and upset. And she was, you know, and I felt bad. I was like, look, don't ask him any more questions, blah, blah, blah. Just, everything will be fine. Don't worry about it. Just go to work the next day. Everything will be fine. She went to work the next day. Still, it sounds so weird when I say it, but, and she was pulled in the office, and for nothing. She didn't ask for it. She wasn't expecting it. It wasn't like it was time or anything. She was given a $3 an hour raise. Have you ever heard of somebody be getting $3 an hour in a raise? That is fucking crazy. That does not happen. You know what's crazy? Even $3 an hour. So, say you work, you know, your standard 40 hours a week. $3 an hour means your time is only worth an additional, you know, well, I guess in her case it's probably 20 some dollars.
But after taxes, that $3 an hour becomes $2.
Oh, right. Well, yeah, I'm sorry, $3 an hour. Let's say you work 8 hours a day. That's only an additional $24. Like, that's how we think. $3 an hour, that's fucking crazy. And it is, it's a lot of money. $24 times, you know, 5 days a week. That's what? $120? $120 times 52 weeks? That's what? $5,200? I'm sure everybody could use an additional $5,200 a year. Which, again, cut down is probably more like $2,500. Maybe $3,000. and actually, who knows? It could bump you up into another tax bracket, which would cost you more money in the end. So, you never know. I know when I would always be surprised by, like, when I would have a good week, and the way my shit worked was I started at 17%, and there was increment, there was amounts of sales that I could hit certain levels, like, $5,000 in sales or whatever, that would bump me up to 17,000 or 17%, 18%, and 19%. Or did it go up to 20%? I can't remember. But there was 3 levels to it. So it was either started at 16 or started at 17 or started at 17, 18, 19. I don't remember. But it was what it was. And I can always remember, like, I'd have like a really big week and have, really big sales, way more than the week before. So not only would I have more sales, extra volume, but that would also bump my percentage up. And then by the time my taxes got to me, it would only be like, $100 more or something like that for the week. And I always thought, man, I sold an additional like $20,000 worth for $100. That's fucking crazy. Who knows? Not that I know of. Nobody seemed to be awake.
Oh, that trans swimmer that wants to take women's medals away from them the court just ruled that they are not allowed to
Good.
compete on
Good.
the women's Olympic team.
Absolutely great. That distraction is fucking ridiculous. Do you understand how utterly ridiculous that distraction is?
But that was a lot of people's comments. Like, why was this even in front of a judge?
Because it's a distraction. So it can get news coverage. So we're not talking about Israel. I know you don't believe that, right? I know you think I am like, I'm too far on that side of things. Like, I get it. I didn't get here overnight. I got here through years and years of trying to find why it's not this. But the more I look at it, the more I think about it, I think very few things on TV are actually natural sort of things that are happening. And I think, like, especially when it comes to stuff like that, there's a reason why, first of all, it's covered in the first place. Like Epstein, right? In any other situation, think about it.
That's a distraction that we needed.
Right.
We needed to be exposed like that.
Those are the best distractions. Those are the best distractions. That's it's when you start understanding this that things start making more sense. That the best distractions are the necessary ones. The best distraction is exposing the pedophiles because you feel good. Fuck yeah, we're getting that pedo and that pedo off the streets. Yeah, protecting our children, and yeah, we're not asking why are they only going to get 90 days in jail?
Oh no, that's infuriating for sure. But see,
who
not chalks that up to, well, they have money, so of course they're going to get out of it.
Not all of them have money. A lot of them don't have money. It's laws. It's because the laws are what they are. And the reason the laws are what they are, the reason why, like someone like me goes, we should spare no expense. We should execute. We should, lots of things when it comes to pedophiles. Why? Because I'm not at all worried that you're going to find some emails or some pictures or, I got nothing in that fucking regard. Nothing. Not even like sketchy conversations. Nothing. And so I would never worry about that. The people in charge, they know that if all the money and resources start going into, they're getting exposed. Thank you, Phenomenal Miami. I don't have a wifey. I'm sorry. I hate that fucking term. I fucking hate it. But that's where we have to start asking those questions. Okay, so why is it even a conversation that should used to be men be allowed to compete against women in physical activities where like men's swimming and women's swimming isn't even fucking close.
Not even close. Our shoulders are built so differently, and then just the power of our chest is so different.
Well,
There's no.
just look at the world records. Look at the world record times. The female world record time wouldn't even let you qualify in the men's, 100-meter fucking breaststroke or 100-meter freestyle or whatever. You wouldn't even qualify. Like
At the same time, like it's way easier for a girl to do the splits straight out than a boy. Most boys can't do it because
at
our
the same
hips
time,
are literally built differently. Our bodies are built different.
at the same time, men's gymnastics blows that shit out.
The power.
Right, the power
height.
just right. The ability is just it's not comparable.
And again, you get them on the bars, and because they're shoulders,
Right.
they
There's
can
extra.
swing ways that girls can't.
Girls don't even do certain events. There's certain events that only boys do. There's
Girls
no.
can't do pommel horse.
I was just gonna say there's no girls pommel horse.
It's shoulders and upper body.
You're correct. The world is fucked. They are destroying the future for our children. Yeah, but that's what everybody's said, every generation and everything. So instead of us continuing to say that and experiencing that, why aren't we unifying and fighting back? Because of this. This is what I'm saying. It's these distractions where they've programmed people to be like, ugh, I can't stand them trans people. I don't want to. So what? I'm just supposed to go into the gym and have some faggot there checking me out wanting to fuck me? Like, dude, no one is checking you out wanting to fuck you. Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, the delusional aspect of these people and their fucking distractions, this is how they get us. And they get us by doing this shit. Trying to, like, every single person that hears this goes, fuck no. There's no way a man should be, a used to be man. I am totally okay with your pronouns. I don't care at all about pronouns. I draw the line at calling you a cat or some sort of animal because like, if you're an animal,
Okay, so
you don't get to have a conversation with me. You're an animal. I don't converse with my animals.
But that's like the abortion argument. Where does that line end? Because you're
What are you
talking about
talking about?
biology. So biology is biology if you're looking at it that way.
I'm not.
So you are biologically a human. Okay, well you were also biologically born with a penis. So
I'm not at all
that's
against
where
abortion.
People's argument. I'm not saying you're against.
No, I'm saying, so what? I don't understand the connection. I'm just asking the connection.
Well, where does the fetus turn into a baby? Like,
It doesn't
where-
fucking matter. It doesn't
well,
matter.
Because
I mean,
point,
when
it's regarded as a baby and its own life, then we'd be committing murder.
Listen.
My point is, where does that line end?
Well,
you
it
don't
ends
wanna
at
call
common
a cat
sense.
because they're born a human.
We don't
Okay,
have
well,
to
you're
have.
born with a penis.
We don't have to have rules that do that. Right? We don't have to say, well, because this is this, then this is this. It's just how that. It's not how that works. At the end of the day, nobody should be forced into having a child, especially somebody that was raped. Nobody. Having children is fucking impossible. It is so hard having children. It's so difficult. Not to conceive them, but raising them and giving them the proper life that everyone deserves. And if you fucking don't even know the baby daddy, you're not with this guy, and you're just not somebody, you're young and you're not ready for that shit, Oh, okay. Like I don't like I would much rather you not bring another unwanted child into this world. Oh, we'll just give it up for adoption. Do you know how full these orphanages are, and how much abuse and sex trafficking and shit goes on with these abortion clinics, or with these adoption houses and whatnot? It's yeah. Ideally, if we lived in a different world where we weren't weird about gays having kids, well, two gay guys can't raise a kid. I mean, straight marriage is like a 65% divorce rate. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Shut up. I'd rather have someone be in a situation with two dudes, two chicks, whatever, and be loved and cared for and have opportunity and all that than be stuck in a fucking orphanage where they're fucking getting passed around, and the older kids and the like you don't hear stories of kids that were foster children and shit where they were like, man, that shit was great. You know, I lived with 10 different foster families throughout my time. And then I aged out. So, you know, I was just thrown out of the program. Go figure it out. But yeah, it was great. You know, I was with one family. We went on water slides and shit. And then they gave me back. And then I was with another family, and we did a lot of wrestling and, you know, played video games. And then, well, they gave me back. Like, come on now. This shit is awful. And we have a too many mouths to feed problem as is. And again, I know there's that you never know who the kid's gonna be, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Yeah. Most of us are dumb as fuck. Most of the really dumb people have really dumb kids. We're not losing anything important. It's just fucking crazy. But that leads into the next point, that women, you need to be responsible for your own vagina. That is 100% not the man's fault. You should not be out having sex with strangers without a condom, knowing there's a chance you could be getting pregnant because you're in that fertile time of month. And I know the wife is going to say that not every woman knows their cycle like that. You are correct. Most of the women I've ever met in my life knew their fucking cycle like to the day that shit was going to start. And that's what it was. I know Sweatshop down the street talked about that shit. That she knew like it would start, they mark it on the calendar, and there was the signs, the tasting of the blood of the mouth, the cramps, this, that, and the other. There's a lot to it. You know? But those women that don't know their cycle should be uber careful and not be out there having sex with anyone without a condom if they don't know if they're on their fucking cycle or not. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how much more care you put into like buying makeup? Well, I gotta find this correct shade, and I gotta make sure it's the right price, and I want to make sure it's not tested on this, and I want this, and I want that, and hopefully I get the gift bag with it, and yada yada yudi. But then you're gonna get drunk, fuck some dude, and make a life, and be like, oh well, that's okay. I'm just giving the pussy out. I don't know if I'm having kids or not. Fuck it. Well, I don't want, you know. If I don't have sex with the guy, he might not like me. If that's the type of guy that you're with, that you don't fuck him on, say, any given night, but like the first night or whatever, that's probably not the right guy. Let's just be a little bit honest there. If the guy breaks up with you because you don't have sex with him, because you say, hey, I think I might be on my period or at my fertile time and I don't want us having a baby, here's a blowjob. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, can't do that. Ooh. But if the guy like is like, oh, fuck that, we're not gonna be together, that great. Great. You dodged a huge bullet. If it's that easy to weed out assholes, bad boyfriends and whatnot, fucking hey, you guys should do that every time. Every fucking time. Get close and then be like, oh shit, you know what? I can't do this. I think I might be close to my period, so I don't want us having a baby. If he's like mad, that's it. You know, okay, cool. You failed the test, douchebag. Get the fuck out of here. Anybody that obsesses or stresses about anyone is fucking stupid. Seriously. Do you know how many people there are in the fucking world? If you, as amazing as you are, want to give yourself to somebody and be that wonderful fucking, perfect person for that person, and you're willing to give up your, willing to give up sleeping with other people, and you just, this person is amazing. If you're that person, like, know you're worth that shit, man. If you're great and somebody's not willing to wait for you or not willing to be smart about it or whatever, fucking good. Good, that's a great thing. And again, oh yeah, that's what I was saying. For you to think that as great as you are, as amazing as you may be, you offer yourself to someone and they don't reciprocate. For you to think, oh no, that's the person for me. That's part of that bullshit about believing in God and stuff. Thinking that God made this person. There are 8 billion fucking people on this planet. You need to get over your own arrogant bullshit thinking that there's only 1 out of 8 billion for your one. Do you know how stupid that is? Do you know what kind of crazy expectations that creates? Out of the 8 billion people on this planet, there's only one person that's truly right for you. Shut the fuck up. We need to be smarter about that shit. We need to stop looking at things the way we do. And this is, to me, some of the most dangerous stuff. We can't defeat these crazy Jews without figuring this bullshit out. Because this is the shit that's used against us. I remember visiting, and your kids were were on 100%. Most would frown on that, but and your kids were on 100. Most people would frown on that, but I salute you too for allowing your children to be themselves, children.
Who's that?
I don't even know who you are. Phenomenal Miami.
It might be Rita.
No, I can't see. It looks like a white chick.
Heather? Blonde Heather came, right?
No.
We do. Why are you grabbing?
Yes. Oh, it is Rita. Oh, my bad.
Hi, Rita.
I can't see the picture.
You should see them now, sweetheart. They're both bigger than me. Those boys are huge.
At the same time, like we're strict.
Oh yeah.
There's shit that, like, as much as we let them be kids, we're their fucking guides.
Well, and we're trying to teach them that
We're trying to keep them out of prison.
with better choices comes more freedom and responsibility. So, we don't just give everything, even though they're making bad choices.
But when you saw them, they were like 5 and 3 or whatever, or 6 or whatever.
Oh,
and those kids were allowed to be kids. Yes.
Wild.
They weren't wild. They were fun. Like, our kids weren't wild. They didn't draw on the walls.
Oh, no.
They didn't break shit. They were just fun. They were funny little,
High energy.
high energy kids, but they were good kids. Still are. But that's, I hate going into the personal stuff like that because it's like, that's not. There are so many feeds out there for people to get all personal on and all that shit. I don't know of any other feed that's talking about the Jews.
She was just pointing out that you talk the talk and walk the walk when it comes to stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's what she was
I've been saying that for years. Like, I'm not,
advocating.
this isn't a character. I'm this exact same person in real life, to a fault. My wife hates it. Because I do this shit to her all the time.
Rita saw you, met you. She saw us.
Right, but I'm just saying, like,
She
I do
visited
the
when
thing where I
It
talk.
was a bad time when she visited.
I talk and I say what I need to say. I just, it's also fucking trivial and we don't even realize like how superficial everything is.
I love you.
We love you too, Rita. They have us believing in all kinds of crazy shit. And because we believe in crazy shit, we do really weird things and crazy things. Like, at the end of the day, Catholics, you realize you pretend to eat body and drink blood. Do you know how fucking insane that is? If I told you I did that in any other way, symbolically or whatever, you'd think I was fucking nuts. I was watching this episode of King of the Hill where Bobby met these dorky kids who wanted, who thought they were wizards and shit. And at the end, the older nerd wanted Bobby to drink this canine blood for this ritual they were doing, and Bobby like realized at the last minute, like, these guys are fucking dorks. I'm not drinking canine blood. And it was like this whole nerdy thing, and they were dressed in these nerdy robes and all this shit, and they were doing all these nerdy hand signals. And it's Christianity, motherfucker. It's the same shit. Yeah, you're not drinking dog blood. You're drinking wine. But it's symbolically human blood.
The blood of Christ.
That would have run out a long time ago if they couldn't just make more wine.
Well, if he can turn water into wine and turn wine into blood.
That wasn't written anywhere. Nobody even like, how did that shit come to be?
Oh, that's my foot. Asshole. And you won't let me cut your nails, so you're stuck. Oh, that's my foot. Stop it.
Origins of communion. The Christian observance of communion, also known as the Eucharist, the Blessed Sacrament, or the Lord's Supper, originated with the Last Supper in the Bible. According to the Synoptic Gospels and the first letter of Paul to the Corinthians, Jesus established the practice at the Last Supper, the night before his crucifixion, when he blessed bread and wine and shared them with his disciples. Jesus said the bread was his body and the wine was the body of my covenant, which is poured out for many. Christians believe the bread and wine symbolize the new covenant. So that's not the origins. That's not how how people first started interpreting that bullshit and saying, all right, let's make little wafers and pretend that's the body of Christ.
Out of dried matzah?
Right, out of Jewish bread. Out of Jew stuff. Like how how all the cardinals and shit wear yarmulkes. We all say it wrong. It's yarmulke. That's how it's spelled.
That's not how it said that.
That's how it's spelled.
Straight from an Orthodox Jew bubby. Is yarmulke.
the early church, communion was celebrated as a full meal, possibly because early churches met in homes. However, by the 3rd century, it had become a ritualistic small meal instead. Some say the Catholic rite of Holy Communion may also parallel pre-Christian Greco-Roman and Egyptian rituals that involved eating the body and blood of a god. This is you want to believe this. Nobody makes you.
Oh, but Baptists don't do communion. So that's going to be the arguments that you get. But Lutherans don't do communion. Only the Catholics and the Orthodox do.
Okay, so when did you guys stop? Because your shit isn't as old as the Catholics. So
Well, when they
broke off, right?
became.
So how did that take place? Who was it
There's
that?
all kinds of stories.
Right. But who was it that was like, I want to believe in God, but I want to believe it my way. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. But I'll be goddamned if we're not going to speak in tongues and fucking lick snakes and shit. Let them bite us.
Oh,
Who,
Pentecostals.
who the fuck comes up with that? And how do they get other people to do it? That's the shit I just don't understand all the time. Like,
Well, it was like.
well, I mean, as
Think about
difficult
it,
as
for
this is for
Pentecostal-
me, with the advantages of the times and the shit that with the internet and all this stuff, I can't get a fucking following that I could get to castrate themselves. How do people do that? Here, you know what? All of you watching me, sign over all of your house deeds and your fucking bank accounts and shit to my wife, and then come live in my backyard. I'll set up some tents, and I get to fuck your wives, and
Well,
I'm saying this because of the fucking scenario, not because that's me, but I get to fuck your daughters too, because all of those leader guys, they always fuck the daughters and shit. Like, how do they get that to take place? That's fucking insane. It happens all the fucking time.
Finding broken, very desperate people. And there's
With money and shit. Grooming, mind control, and emotion. Yeah, but okay, so they're using these sinister tactics. I'm trying to talk the truth with as many people as I can and have an open discussion about how we can make the world a better place for all of us. And
But
I can't
what
get
you're
that.
Promising is going to be very scary, ugly, and bloody first to get to there.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't want that. And
Nobody wants that, but that's for the type of change. Like, you're basically talking about a complete collapse of society the way that it is.
No.
And a rebirth in a completely different way.
No, it's not a complete, because I like my TV, I like my fans, I like my refrigerator.
I get that, but the rebirth would include those things. It would just be done differently.
Right. Things are going to be done differently, but a lot of things stay the same. Initially, it's going to be difficult.
Really, really hard.
Yeah, but life
Especially
is really hard.
The younger generation that are so reliant on all of these systems.
I mean,
which is by design, of
we've
course.
been taught that the younger generation is awful for a long time, right? And it's the younger generation that's at the universities and the campuses right now protesting the thing that we should have been saying this whole time.
Oh, for sure. I didn't say they're awful. I said they're reliant.
Right,
on these
but
systems
I'm
because of
saying
all of the
we've
tech.
been taught that they're awful. That's really what it's been. That this next generation, Gen Zs and all, they're awful. They're just these awful, lazy, whiny, yada 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 people. And in the reality is, they're bravely fighting a fight that none of us have been willing to fight, and all of us knew existed.
Very true.
You know, like it's maybe that whole.
They don't want to work because we're not meant to, and they can feel it in their bones.
Well,
in
that,
their
but
souls.
our grandparents said the same things about us, and our society's spinning like a top, spinning like a dreidel.
Well, Well, I mean, I guess that depends on who you would ask. Like, if you ask Jan and Dick and Bob, like, they don't foresee good in the future. They think that we
But
dropped the ball.
but that's what everybody always thinks. That the foundation of everyone's belief is chaos and trauma. The foundation of the first, like the thing that everybody is connected with and grounded to, the first thing you know, before you learn a bunch of stuff, the first thing you know is God and religion. And the foundation of that shit is that, man, we are like days away from Jesus coming back and all of you good Christians out there evaporating while the rest of us suffer Armageddon. Dun, 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 dun.
Now, I didn't go to Greek school, so I don't know. I know the Greek Orthodox don't. I don't think they believe in the rapture. I don't think that's part of the Greek Orthodox belief system. But I don't know for sure because, like I said, I didn't go to Greek.
Well, the foundation of, I mean, that's Christianity.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Not every denomination believes in the rapture. No.
Right. Well, but they believe that Christ is returning.
Yes.
Right.
But what that means is a different in the different denominations.
Well, it doesn't matter. At this point, none of that shit matters. This is America.
Like the Catholics believe everybody's dead.
The religion is it permeates everything. You just don't understand, you know, the fact that you're like, hey, I am not working on Sunday, motherfucker. It's because you're celebrating religion, right? Like it's everywhere. I say God damn it all the time.
How do the farmers, the religious
God.
farmers get past that? Because their cows have to eat. Their chickens have to eat. They can't take a day off of eating because this dude wants to fucking sit and pray. So the farmers work on Sunday.
Oh yeah. Well, but the order has been, they already know. And
oh, so God gives them a pass. They
well,
get a pass.
Yeah.
Because that's the day you're supposed to spend the entire day worshiping the Lord.
Well, I mean, there's so much that, you know, you're not supposed to eat meat. Like that's you're supposed to use the animals for their labor. Doesn't say you should eat them. But you do that. And then it got switched to, well, just don't eat meat on Fridays.
During Lent.
No, initially it was Fridays, just all throughout the fucking.
Oh, I thought that was just.
And then it went to Lent, and it's just like, you know.
See, I don't think the Greeks have that either.
But you know, I say this all the time. Either you've had sex before you were married, which 99% of you did, or you had sex for purposes other than procreation. Either of which, you're going to hell.
What are you wearing?
Well, no, this is Old Testament. We can't do the Old Testament because, you know, that has the built-in cop-out that they fucked up the first time, so.
Right. God made mistakes.
Right. Well,
with the beings that he created.
They made mistakes.
Right? The beings he created, he gave them rules, and he fucked up in the rules that he gave them.
Right.
So then he had to come back and give them new rules.
Right. Easier, nicer rules. Although, there are still the Old Testament people out there, and they're going to be in control. Because, you know, the Jews, I mean, they don't believe in the Old Testament,
the fact that whether
but they
I got
do.
It right or wrong, they still love me.
It's just so, it's very Trumpish, you know? God is very Trumpish. I could go shoot somebody in the middle of the street, and I'd still get voted. It's time we put a felon in the White House. I mean, I am so terrified for, all of us. Because when Trump is in the office, the anti-Israel or the pro-Israel legislation is going to increase, 100-fold, however many-fold.
We still have turkey, right?
Yeah. Okay, well, you better make it home in time. She got a sack of rocks. Yeah, that's what you call them. Meditation rocks. She gets all meditated, man. Meditated. It's my meditation. I hate that fucking stereotype. The stoner stereotype, the only stoner you ever see on TV ever. You never ever see some intellectual stoner. It's always the, hey man. He's either like the super shaggy stoner man, or he's the like conspiracy guy, man. You know, man, they're out to get us, man. You know, Big Brother, man. They make us look so stupid. Big Brother's out to get us, man. It's so fucking insulting, but it's supposed to. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be insulting to the stoners, and it's supposed to be, you know, validating for the haters. It's oh look, a show about kids doing, oh, it's kids, they're dancing. Isn't it interesting how nowadays we don't have a bunch of primetime shows that are just about some kids, even though I guess we still kind of do. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't watch primetime TV. There's a whole fucking TV lineup that's on right now, and I have no idea what it is. I just don't. I don't do TV like that. Fucking Luca, he's losing. I think they're gonna come back and do something no other team's ever done and come back from a 3-0 deficit. 0-3 deficit, whatever. How is your wrist? I guess it never healed. Same as my surgery. It fucking hurts all the time. It hurts all the time, and all the time it hurts. It fucking sucks, man. I hate it. I hate it. But again, no one wants to hear about my shit. We have to use whatever time, whatever ability we have to connect. Like I can't follow what's going on with my page right now. But see, what I've done is allowed myself to be distracted. As always, I'm always distracting myself. And this is, the thing is, everything is a distraction. Everything. Everything out there is to keep us from focusing on this bullshit. You tell me what's worse than what's happening right now. You know, and yeah, I know in Africa there are all sorts of regimes that have killed lots and lots of people and whatnot. I mean, you know, there's a lot of shit out there that's fucked up. But this is the only thing that's like bragged about. All the other stuff happens behind closed doors. This genocide is happening like they're showing off. You know, look what we can do kind of bullshit. You wish you never had surgery. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't think about stuff like that. I just, everything they give us is about distracting us and getting us, you know, like think about like, what are the foundations, right? The foundations are all these things that that we can't, like, we just follow, right? So religion being sort of the main one, they have us arguing about supposedly some shit that happened thousands of years ago. Who knows? Uh, and it's stuff that we can't change. We can't do anything about. It happened. It's in the past. And we can't even prove that it's real or not. We just have to believe some nonsense that really doesn't even have any evidence behind it. You know, or they supposedly have evidence, but they keep it under lock and key in the vaults and blah, blah, blah. That kind of bullshit. Right? Religion has taught man war. Fuck yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, absolutely. It's the us versus them, me versus you mentality. It's the home team thing. It's how they keep themselves protected. I think of the world like if you took the flat earth map and you put a target symbol over it, like the store Target, and you put the center was Israel. The second circle around is the Christian Muslim empires, right? It's where these two things were founded. And initially it was all just one thing, right? It was just one religion. There was the inside, the Jews on the inside, and on the outside circle it was everybody else, and they were just one thing. And eventually we got sick of it, and we were like, hey, why do these Jews live in the center circle and get all the fucking the pride, all the good, and we on the outside do all the work? And we invaded. And we figured it out. Oh shit. We're a goddamn fucking, we're in a TV show. Let's get to the top of this motherfucker. And they built the Tower of Babel. And the TV show was good to watch up until we got to the top, and we, you know, they couldn't stop us anymore, so they had to flush the toilet and wipe everything out and reset things the way they wanted it. And they reset the show. And this time you have that same symbol. You have the center circle, the chosen in the center. And now that second circle is two. It's Christians and Muslims. And every few hundred years, who the good guy is switches. But as long as you have that struggle between those two on the center, on the second circle, the inner circle remains, you know, remains protected, remains insulated. And then that third circle on the outside, they just happen to give the Native Americans and the Asian religions are those peaceful religions. The in tune with the world and the nature and the peaceful and the blah, blah, blah. So much so that they program the natives that if a white man ever comes in a boat from the east, you greet him with gifts. And that's supposedly what happened. When the white man came from the east, they swam out to the fucking boat like, you're here. And he was like, yeah, I'm here. What's up? That's the bullshit history they give us. I don't know how much of that I believe. Maybe all of it. Maybe part of it. Maybe I'm right the fuck on. You know? And so they you know, you have these three circles that keep the Jews protected. And it's falling apart now. The key to this is the second circles need to realize, like, they gave us those control mechanisms. There's a reason why Christianity has Jews as God's chosen people. That's what religion does. It's not about, I mean, it is about war and stuff, but it's about, you know, us understanding our place. You know, you goddamn Christians, the people that the namesake of the religion, you're not God's favorite people. Your God was actually one of this other religion, this other thing, this thing you have to be born into, and and actually controls everything. That's the thing that is God's real big deal. That's God's favorite. You can't, even if you convert, you'll never really be accepted, and is what it is. It's about supremacy, yes. That the part that I can't help but do is I have to Guyanize myself on this one. Right? I have to, just like with everything, you have to ask why. Until you get to the point where there's no more why, you have to ask why. So, when I think about why do they, why do they keep us from living the utopian society we should live in? Keep us from living in that utopian society? Why do they make life so difficult for us? And it all leads back to the TV show thing, right? The fact is, none of you doesn't have conflict at its heart. And usually conflict is the center point, the centerpiece of whatever you're watching. The cop shows, the doctor show, whatever it is, where there's a murder, there's a somebody dies, a heart attack, a mystery, somebody's sick, all the shows that we watch, even the funny shows, will Billy find the date with Julie, blah, blah, blah. It's all about, will Kevin kiss Winnie? And it's all conflict. And if there's not a significant amount of conflict in our TV show, they're going to start it over. And that's the reset that everybody's talking about. That's the piece of the puzzle that nobody wants to address. Where all of this comes from, who is the destroyers, blah, 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 all that. It's really easy when you think about it from a who are we perspective, right? If we had the technology, which we're close to create an environment where we could watch the beings that look like us, the rebooted stupid version of us, ultimate reality TV show that doesn't know it's in a TV show. We'd watch that shit. But we'd have to ensure that there was enough conflict to keep everybody from realizing what's going on. Because once we realize what's going on, we're not as fun to watch. It's just that simple. So all this conflict, this when you're thinking about why does the government do this? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't help the people. It creates a bunch of conflict though, doesn't it? And conflict is what they up there want to see. They don't give a fuck about us. We're the little monkeys. Whereas we make our stars these glamorous, these icons of who we want to be. The stars of this infinite reality show where there are literally cameras everywhere, we just can't see them. We just can't comprehend them. See, this is the thing. Most of you are too arrogant, right? You're too arrogant to let yourself understand that, the world we live in today is inconceivable to somebody 150, 200, 500 years ago. At least according to mainstream. I don't believe that anymore, but at least according to the mainstream narrative, where people just, we lived the horse and buggy lifestyle or whatever. We had no comprehension of cell phones, watching some doofus in Michigan talk about what he thinks the world is, blah, blah, blah. Nobody had that thought. So to think what we are going to be capable of in 150, 200, 500, 1,000 years from now To think that we won't be able to build some sort of structure that you know, the things in the inside don't realize they're in, at least not for millions of their years. You know, that's something that's been done by the Simpsons and anybody else who's ever, you know, the thought of it is always there. That's something that we as a people have always, and it's because we know that's what it is. We have that memory in there somewhere. That's why those appeal to us. Anything that does something, a Matrix kind of movie or anything like that, it appeals to us because we have the memory. We know what's going on. We know what the fuck they've been doing. It's in there. It's like how you hold a baby over water and it kicks its legs. It's got that genetic memory to swim. We have it in there. We know. It appeals to us because we know. That's why they don't make religious movies. And when they do, they bomb, other than like Passion of the Christ, which was fucking ridiculous. But Passion of the Christ was one of those movies that they tricked you into what you have to see this. You haven't seen this? You know, you were like a bad Christian if you didn't see that shit. We all need to learn how to be self-sufficient. No, we don't. I mean, I guess we kind of need to for the upcoming, but no. We need to learn to be communities, to be one community. That's what we are. Somebody's going to be good at building shit. Somebody's going to be good at cooking shit. Somebody's going to be good at organizing shit. Somebody's going to be good at just working at something. You know? Somebody's going to be good at growing flowers. Somebody's going to be good at whatever. We're going to have all sorts of people that are good for things. And if we don't work together, we don't have that community that we need to be able to overcome the oppression, the control. But do we want to? At the end of the day, it could mean the reset. We kickstart the reset. Is money an issue in your life? Why? Can you help me with it? Isn't money an issue in everyone's life? Come on. Who has enough money? Money is always an issue for everyone. But that's not the point. My life doesn't matter in this. What matters is trying to figure out how do we fucking overcome this insane situation that we live in. You have enough money in your life. Must be nice. I hope you're using it to fight against Israel. If you're not using it to fight against Israel, you're using it wrong. There's an enemy out there. The key to wealth in this world is having a family trust. This is where you put your 10%. We need to realize that that's their system of control. Money is how they control us. They print the money. They don't care about the money. They have so much of it. It's what it is. You print it. You have it. The money is how they control us. Because none of us have enough, except for Jay Quick. Jay Quick has enough money. But nobody has enough money. If you don't, you should be using that money to better things. If you're not bettering the world, you're making it worse. We have to fight this shit. We have to fight this system. It's a system of oppression. They mock us. They destroy us. and we all understand that we're in it. Everybody makes the jokes until the conversation gets serious, and then the like, you can't talk about that idea kicks in, and you shut down like you're supposed to. We have to get through this shit. And it scares me like that. Of course it's going to be difficult. Of course it's going to be hard. I don't ever claim to have all the answers or know how to do everything, or I don't know that shit. I know that there are lots of people out there that have lots of really great ideas. I know there's lots of technology that's been just, bought up by the government only to disappear. We should have been driving water cars for fucking ever now. Water-powered cars have been a thing for a long time. The technology gets bought up by the government, the person disappears, and that's that. And the thing is, you have to, like, if you ever find yourself in one of those situations where the system is saying to you, hey, we're going to give you $10 million to shut the fuck up, you better take that shit. If you don't, they're just going to kill you. That's what they do. Once you get to that point on the radar where they're willing to bribe you, if you don't take that, the next step is the end. And that's, that's the reality. So if you ever do something good where you invent something or whatever and you think, no, I'm not gonna sell it, well, you better fucking sell that shit. But once those guys show up with a checkbook, that's the last resort. Well, the second to last, I guess. We have to do something. It scares me to think about that shit. Like, what is the cost? What would be the cost to shut you up about something like that? Like the genocide, the Israel stuff. I don't know how to not talk about that shit. I don't. Believe me, there are all kinds, like Tartaria. Tartaria is this wonderful thing worth talking about. It's amazing. It's really, really good. And I can't get stuck talking about it because it seems like a huge distraction to me. It's another one of those things from the past that we can't really change. We can't really prove. The only way we'll ever get even close to proof is if we overthrow the system that's in charge right now, the keepers of the information. Because, all we know is what's been allowed to be released. That's it. That's all we'll ever know until we overthrow the system and not trash things. I don't want to trash anything. I just want things to change. I want the leadership to change. But that's, maybe again, that's part of keeping us interesting, is keeping us from that information. I don't know. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy. I can't imagine being the Netanyahu of the world that's just slaughtering people. That's the brainchild, or the poster child at least, for the slaughter of tens of thousands of people. That is a heavy fucking burden, man. And he seemingly enjoys it like any psychopath would. Psychopaths and their body counts. I'll let you think of that what you will. Anyway. Anyway. Yeah. You know, it's crazy to me how difficult this is to. I don't know. What am I thinking? Right? Like, the only way I can even operate is by using the system they provide me. Right? So to think, you know, it's funny. Jay Quick left as soon as I brought up Israel. I hate the mentality of this world. Yeah, but it's part of that programming. You know, it's part of that selfishness. It's part of religion. People just don't understand that. People don't understand how arrogant and dangerous religion is. The idea that you think if you want it bad enough that you can pray to the God that makes the universe work and he is going to answer that shit for you. And then whenever you succeed, you attribute it to that God instead of yourself because you've been taught that's how you do it. You know, from a young age, all you've ever seen is when people win stuff, they Jaylen Brown last night was interviewed after the game and they were asking him questions about, you know, how well he was doing. And he was like, yeah, well, my team just played really well. If it weren't for my guys, you know, wouldn't be able to do this. You know, this guy did that guy did this. You know, he's giving the praise away. And then he ends his interview with all praise to the Most High, which I'm surprised he waited till the end instead of, you know, going from the beginning. But he did say all praise to the Most High, which I'm assuming that's black Muslim. But I don't know. I don't know. Can somebody help me on that one? But, you know, that's all you've ever seen. You see that the track, you know, the Usain Bolts running races and you know, they win the race and they're, you just won the race. You just, what do you have to say? I just want to thank, first of all, we got to give all praise to God. Without him, none of this is possible. Like, and everybody looks at that like it's some sort of selfless, like, wow, man, the lack of ego to you know, this guy is such a great person because he won't accept the credit for all the fucking years of sacrifice he put in to get to the fucking position he's in. The years of running and lifting weights and dieting and not going out and not doing this and not doing that and just preparing for this one moment. And you're like, nah, it wasn't me, it was God. That's what we see all the time. So that reinforces that bullshit in us. We're not achieving. It's God. And then to think like the arrogance. Again, we go back to arrogance. The arrogance in thinking that God wants you to win the race. All those other 9 racers or whatever it is, they must not have been praying as hard as you, or God must not like them as much as you, or whatever it may be. I don't know. But God favored you that day. God favored the football players. There's this famous fucking play where it was Minnesota, Antonio Gibbs, maybe, I don't know, his last name's Gibbs. He it was no time left. Last play, the ball is thrown his direction. Two of the opposing team's players miss, and he catches it and runs for a touchdown. And he's interviewed after that, and they're like, what do you have to say? And he's like, all praise has to go to God, man. I don't know how you could see that and not think God had something to do with it. God, God, God. Like, dude, you caught a football and right. God of the universe, who's busy making, you know, stars or planets go around stars, and then the stars flying through, and the baby's breath and the fucking taking a bunch of lives away at the same time, blah blah blah. He's also like, I'm a fucking Gibbs fan, I'm a Vikings fan, and today I want them to win. Like, that shit is so unbelievably arrogant. It should be blasphemous to do that. It should be blasphemous to say things like that. The arrogance it takes to say something like that. And yet, we all think we're programmed to think that that's him being some sort of humble. You know how many people get humble wrong? I'm so humbled by this situation. They're being interviewed in front of a whole bunch of people that are clapping for them. And they want to walk out and talk about, this is a humbling experience, and I just want to like, it's humbling. It's not at all humbling. It's not at all a kick in the nuts to be, celebrated, to have a whole bunch of people clapping for you, and the light shining on you, and everybody looking at you and loving you. Like, that's not what humbled means. You fucking idiots. That's what they want. They want us stupid like that. And we fight to be it, man. Correct somebody's spelling. Correct somebody's use of the word your or their. Or then instead of than or whatever. Correct somebody and see how well they respond to you trying to prevent the world from being dumbed down. Everybody complains that our society has been dumbed down. Yet if you try to fight it, they will fight you. You want to talk about being dumbed down? You think there is an all-knowing, all-powerful man up in the sky who allows fucking children. Oh, look, Marx is there. Oh, who allows children to be fucking violated and allows Israel to massacre 36,000, 37,000 plus people. It's got mostly women and children. I'm not going to agree with that. and fuck, if that's true, if there's a God that does exist, and that God allows for all of these people to be murdered by these horrible Israelis, I want nothing to do with that thing. That is a sick, sick motherfucker up there. We have to be honest about this situation. The God that allows all these there are I don't care where you are, within a mile or two of your house, somebody is being held against their will in some sort of facility, some sort of closet, some sort of something. At least that's what CSI and all these shows will have you believe. Right? So funny. Look at that symbolism right in the middle, but look at that thing. Shoom. He's so funny. God, I hate this fucking show. It's weird how, like, as I've gotten older, and seemingly in my mind smarter, that overtly Jewish style of comedy is less and less funny to me. I never did like Woody Allen. I never understood why people liked him. I thought he was horrible. I thought he was unrelatable and weird and just gave me creepy vibes. And I guess I was right about that one. But it's what the fuck was I just saying? Sorry. I was distracted by the chick's nose. That's so funny. I don't remember what I was saying. It's such a weird spot to be in. Rita, this shit's crazy, man. I don't want to be this way. I don't want to think like this. I wish I didn't see the world this way. I wish somebody could make believing in God make sense to me, so then I could like go with that and be like, all right, I see that the world's really fucked up, but as long as I pray about it, then when I die, I go to heaven, and I guess I don't even know. Nothing will change. I mean, I would imagine. But see, if I was religious, I mean, I'm sure the religious affiliates are siding with Israel on this. They have to, right? I mean, these are God's chosen people. Like, would I have to sit here and side with genocide? Like, that's fucked up. I don't. How do you do that? How does that work? It's just fucked up, man. It's just fucked up. Whatever it is, it's fucked up. We have to figure it out. And I think I've figured it out. I don't think it's, if it's something else, then I'd love to hear it. But I've never heard anything that makes more sense than what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is based on decades now of research. I mean, I don't know what else you call it. It's not like I sit here and say I only watch certain YouTube channels or Facebook videos or some shit. I'm famous for being boring as shit and reading videos, right? Reading articles and Wikipedia pages and shit like that on my feed. I want to know things. I want to know what I'm supposed to know and see how much it makes sense. And that's the craziest part, is how much what you're supposed to know doesn't make sense. And it should, and it just, if you're any decent human being, then it won't make sense to you, and you won't have any, you'll have the same struggles I have. I don't think you can be a decent human being and support Israel and not be completely disgusted by what you're seeing. These are the worst of the worst people. They're killing far too, I mean, it's just, how do you support the murder of 37,000 mostly women and children? How does that even work? I couldn't do it if it was the other way around. I would hope that, given a better choice, that Jews would not choose supremacy. But if that's the case, and they choose to choose it, like, I don't know what you do there. There's the Samson option, right? They've threatened to nuke the world if they ever feel threatened again. Supposedly. But that's believing in nukes. Maybe I just don't believe in nukes. I do understand that, like, it's a scary situation where you say, all right, so we start unifying and they start threatening and whatnot. How long do we wait before we strike? Do we let them strike first? I don't necessarily agree with that. You know, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to navigate that shit. We need to understand that, like, people need to understand it's all written crazy bullshit. From Christianity to Islam to Judaism, it's all bullshit. It's written and it's given to us and forced on us to control us. That's it. You know, there's a reason why most people aren't adamantly, vehemently opposing this Israeli bullshit, and it's because they don't know they're allowed to. You know, they think it's not okay because the TV constantly tells them it's not okay. And again, I can't imagine how anybody can support such horrendous nonsense. You know, I haven't seen a single video coming out of Israel that shows a war-torn scene with family members crying over a dead body wrapped in the white blankets or whatever. I haven't seen a single Israeli video showing somebody running away from a situation as bombs are being dropped from planes. I haven't seen a single situation where, you know, the Palestinian tanks are moving in on an Israeli settlement or whatever, and they're firing mortar rounds or whatever, and you know, Israel. I haven't seen a single video like that at all. I don't even know. They're not even. They don't even have like an Israeli death toll that's being said over and over again. They keep going. People. Hamas killed around 1,200 people in Israel. Not Israelis. People in Israel. And that's the only numbers that you get. Every once in a while you'll hear stories of like a friendly fire situation happening where bloodthirsty Israelis are just so desperate to kill that they kill their own on accident. You see that a lot. But this shit just, it's appalling. It's appalling, and it's right there. And everything is to distract us from that. You want to talk about Tartaria in the past? You're not talking about that. You want to talk about Jesus and Islam and Muhammad and walk around in a fucking cube and I gotta get to Mecca and all this other bullshit. You wanna do that? Nothing's gonna change. So many people have done that before you, and it's done nothing but perpetuate the terror. It's time we stop these cycles dead in their tracks and fucking fix things. I just don't understand. I don't understand why somebody's nutso beliefs trumps anything. You know, you want to believe that you're superior, and I'm supposed to believe that too for you to be comfortable? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Well, I mean, it makes sense for you, but it doesn't make sense for me. It's crazy, man. My eyes hurt. Shit hurts my eyes. My back hurts. My wrist hurts. My toe hurts. You guys just have no idea. Eyes are killing me. Look at this screen over and over. It just fucking drives my eyes crazy. I'm getting old, apparently. I have no connection to Palestine whatsoever. I'm not even pro-Palestine. At the end of the day, it's not a pro-Palestine thing for me. I'm anti-Israel. Free Palestine is just the acceptable thing you can say to show your dismay and not get in trouble for it. But I'm 100% anti-Israel. And that's the thing to me, because as I've been saying for months now, years, they're going to kill the Palestinians and then they're going to just move right on to the next one, which is probably going to be Lebanon or Syria or Yemen or Iran, but probably Lebanon. That's what I was saying for years. I said that shit for years. I don't know, like, you can deny the facts all you want. I literally said that shit for years, and now that's the next threat. That Israel is picking fights with Lebanon, and they're worried that that Lebanese Hezbollah is going to strike against Israel, unprovoked, unknown, unacknowledged. People are going to die. Lebanese Hezbollah, they're gonna strike Israel. It's just more bullshit. That's the plan. That's what the news is saying. The tax dollars, everything involved in this is so fucked up. We should not be okay with so much money being spent on killing people because some insecure religion needs everybody else to fall in line for them to be okay. I'm sure there are plenty of religions, belief structures out there that think they're superior and live in their own little bubble, and we never hear anything about it. Qatar seems like it's pretty fucking insane. We hear nothing about that shit. I don't think it's a good thing. I think all of those Muslim countries are fucking insane. I think there's nothing good about that. Just like this idea of us being this Christian nation has its severe, severe downfalls and setbacks. It's the same thing with the Muslims. And it's used against us to keep us in this goofy, fucking, desperate, sick position. Worshipping fucking goofy idols and just giving all of our credit away and accepting genocide because, well, the chosen ones are saying so. Like, it's just fucking crazy. I never planned on what it would feel like to be this right. Well, Tony Bennett has just happened to hang out with these guys and he's singing to them. Can you imagine? This is what they used to tell us entertainment was. A Jewish guy singing songs. I don't know if he's Jewish. I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah. Tony Bennett's definitely one of the Jewish ones. I thought he might be Italian, but he's not. But yeah, you're friends with Tony Bennett and he's hanging out singing to you songs when you go to your little club. Like, this is just so weird. This kind of shit does not exist anymore anywhere. You're just gonna go to the place where the guy's gonna sing love songs, same goofy love songs over and over again. Where the guy talks about how desperate he is. How much I love you so much. Oh, my heart would break without you. Why would you ever want someone that needy? God, I hate this shit. Whoa, sing it, Tony Bennett, sing it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I've been on here way longer than I wanted to. So, Rita, I always appreciate you being here. It's good to see you again. And I broke my own rules. I said if it wasn't 10 people, I wasn't going to stay. But once I found out Rita was here, I couldn't bail. I like Rita. Anyway, Rita, appreciate you being so, contributing so much to the feed. Everybody else have a great day. But, pedophiles, you kill yourself. See ya.